Hello, my name is Sandri Senjaya. I'm from Islamic State University of Chevalier, Jakarta, and I'm from English Education Department. And today, I'm here to retelling the story I've been read by the book that titled A Burning Bright by Tracy Chevalier. Uh, it was the story about some friendship bound and a family who moved from London in 1792. The writer was inspired by some of the William Blake famous poetry that was the artist who labeled by the English people back then as a French revolutionary. Okay, let's back to the story. The story was began where the Calloway family reached the busy streets of London. And the Calloway family decided to move to London after Thomas Calloway, through much deliberation and some consultation with his wife Anne Calloway. Thomas' family is a chairmaker, has lived in the Peddle Valley for 100 of years, and the decision to moved his family by surprise. Thomas moved to London with his wife Anne Calloway, his son Jim Calloway, and his daughter Missy Calloway. He left his first son Sam Calloway to stay in his old home and start his own life because he was want to marry. His decision was not just a spontaneous idea. Thomas was actually met with Pelly Astley, who was the owner of the famous circus in the Europe in 1792. Philip Astley offered him a new job and a new life in London. Thomas took this opportunity as his wife comforted her from their sadness and their grief after losing their son, Tommy. And then the story continues. After arriving in London, Thomas and his family tried to meet Philip Astley to collect his promise. Philip Astley, who was the super busy man with his circus show business, but actually finally he recognized the Thomas he had been promised before. And then Philip Astley asked his assistant John Fox to took the Calloway family to their new home and lived with Miss Pelham, who was the housekeeper of the house. The night they arrived at their new home and moved their luggage from the horse-drawn carriage, Jem met a girl named Maggie. Maggie, with her high curiosity, came and looked for the origin of these newcomers. Messi tells Maggie that they were come from the Piddleton Heights. Maggie tried to establish a relationship with this new neighbor, a Calloway family, by recounting the atrocities of the London on the first day they were alive. Jim looked undisturbed and explained to Maggie that his hometown was worse than London, but the other side, that Messi saw Maggie as her first friend in London. After a week, Maggie revisited the Calloway family and met Missy. Missy invited Maggie to enter the house, even though that she knew that Miss Pelham hates Maggie family so much because of she was deceiving her by giving the fake goods that Miss Pelham tried to order the battlefield. Maggie, with high curiosity, wanted to see the Calloway family routine. Maggie told Messi that living in London had to be smart in buying and selling things or stuff in order to make money and survive. Calloway family has began to adapt the situation in London. Jim and Messi were getting close and close to Maggie. They were bound by their new friendship. Thomas Calloway, the father of Jim and Messi, he has begun the routine of coming to the pub every time after he's sending a chair for sale. Once one day, Maggie invited Jim to go to the pub where Maggie's family usually hang out. There, Jim met with Dick Butterfield, the father of Maggie, and Charlie Butterfield, Maggie's brother, and they were start talking about their experience in London. The situation in London at that time was polite, chaos, because it is because the influence of the French Revolution. However, the Calloway family lived their life normally. Jem and Messi always wanted to watch Philip Ashley's circus show, although their father Thomas always got a free tickets to watch the circus. But their mother Anne always reviews and forbade them to watch the show. Even though Anne hated Philip Ashley for always reminding her of the death of her son Tommy, Anne finally decided to watch the circus with her family out of curiosity with the appearance of the slack rope dancing. And then the story continues where Jim and Maggie daily life are very close because they always spend their time together exploring London surrounding. Although sometimes Jim's sister, joined them. Maggie curiosity attracts Jim and Messi to find out more about one of the families in London who were labeled as followers of the French revolutionaries. Jim got interested because Maggie curiosity with the husband and wife, the family named William Black and Kate Black. Mr. Black, who is an artist in the STEM, has been instigated by the French Revolution by Londoners because of his works, which has considered conspiracy and misleading the London civil. However, Jim and Maggie realized that Mr. Black is a compassionate figure of children because of his songs that were created that has meaning of family and free love. After many adventures traversed by Jim, Maggie, and Messi, the situation in London has worsened since the war in France broke out. Then Maggie runs away and lives in a black family house because she doesn't want to be forced to work by her family. Messi begins to feel the cruelty of life in London when she met her old friend from her hometown named Rosa, who worked as a prostitution in order to survive in London. The situation became even worse when the citizens of London started an anti-revolutionary movement and fully supported the king. The anti-revolutionary group called on all Londoners to sign the petition as the evidence in full support of the king's position. After the riot ensued when the Londoners gathered in front of the Black family house, which has labeled as a followers of the French Revolution. When Mr. Black tries to calm the residents, Maggie throws a cabbage right at the head of one of the anti-revolutionary members. And then suddenly the riot ensued. Maggie pulled James and ran fast from the anti-revolutionary pursuit. Jim and Maggie hide under the stone bridge where they often visit. In the darkness, their body getting closer, and their lips come together, and they were kissing. They were met with Maggie's brother, who then cornered Maggie to tell Jim the truth that had been hidden by her all this time. Maggie tells Jim that a long time ago she killed someone in what she often called a cutthroat alley. Maggie told Jim that she was doing that as a form of a self-protection because she was at that time she was robbed by men and tried to rape her. Jim was shocked and said nothing. Then he ran away because of his concern for his sister Mercy in that situation. After the night of chaos, the next morning the Calloway family was asked to leave by Londoners because Thomas did not sign the petition given by the anti-revolutionaries. They decided to return to their hometown. However, he had to leave Mercy to remain in London because of her situation, her condition getting worse after her incident with Philip Ashley's eldest son, John Ashley, in the stables. A few months, the Calloway family returned to their hometown. Maggie learned that Maisie was sick because she was pregnant with a child of John Ashley. They know that telling the Phillips will not change the situation. Philip Ashley will not want to damage the pride of his family, who was like a noble man, because of this incident. Maggie planned to bring Missy home with whatever she can. On the way to Missy and Maggie's hometown, they met Rosa, who also had faced the same situation with Missy. Rosa, pregnant without a man in charge. Maggie feel pity and decided to bring Rosa back to the Peddle Valley too with Missy. The Calloway family was very surprised to find her daughter Missy returning home in labor. However, in the middle of the situation, Missy told Jim that Maggie was separated from him in the next village, and then Jim ran with his mic in disbelief that Maggie has escorted Missy safely to the nearest village to her home. After that, they were finally met, Jim hugging Maggie. And then after talking about the state of Jim's hometown, Jim asked Maggie that if she wanted to stay here with Jim and live together. Maggie answered while crying that she could not. Maggie felt that she could not leave her family in London. And then Jim respect her these choices and took her home to the nearest village to London by promising that someday he will visit Maggie in London. And that's the end of the story, and thank you very much for your attention and your good listening. I'm sorry for any mistakes, and thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.